All right, welcome back to another video. We're still under part one, core beliefs. Section two, why most businesses fail. The truth no one wants to hear. For this question, it is, can I think of a business that I knew was doomed before they did and why? Now, this is a tricky question because a lot of times a business is doomed because of the person running the business and not necessarily because of the business itself. There are a few things to this. Um, the most recent one I can think of is outside of the ones that I mentioned before. There was a gentleman who wanted to set up a sort of a coaching, share his experience setup where he had built out a course and he was trying to create sales pages that just weren't working. He was sticking to it. Um, I knew it was doomed. And the reason why I knew it was doomed, not because of the content or the course, but because he was stubbornly dead fast and set against doing what would be required to get this to move. What do I mean? He was targeting people who wanted to have a similar lifestyle as him. And he explained that his sort of lifestyle was set up on a series of three different avenues: affiliate marketing, coaching, and course production. And so he wanted to put out a course which explained how to do all those things. On the surface, it's not a bad idea. The problem is nobody wants those three things. Like they might, but a lot of times people are looking for something specific. So for example, if somebody's looking up information on affiliate marketing, they're not really looking up how to start their own coaching business or how to sell their own courses. It's a completely different mindset. Now, the coaching and courses are similar, but usually have different problems or issues that those people are looking for. Somebody who's either a coach or looking to start a coach is looking for a certain set of information that will help them do that. And usually something that's geared towards producing a course or teaching them affiliate marketing, it's not in the same vein if they're trying to set it up, right? And when I explained this to him, he said he got it, but he never made any changes. So he would, and what I mean is he would change the sales page, he'd adjust his messaging, but he would never hone in on one of those three things. And no matter how many times I told him, hey, this is not going to work unless you make these changes, he just didn't want to shift from it. That now I'm not entirely sure if he was doomed, but he never really got any traction. There's another business that was similar. It was like an online college, and they have their own hurdles they have to go through. But the client that they were attracting was not somebody who had money. And I was explaining to them that they had to make these changes and put in the messaging to attract the correct person, the person who would have money, be able to pay for the school. And if they didn't, they'd continue to attract the wrong people. And the gentleman I was dealing with would make iterations or changes to his ads and his sales page based on his gut feeling of what he felt like worked instead of what the data said and the type of people that they had coming in. And ultimately, they ended up having to change the strategy completely. And it's unfortunate, but as I've been saying, the sort of a common recurrence is the business owner gets in their own way, or the person running the marketing can get in their own way. And they believe they know the best way to do it. And I'm not saying I'm immune to that. I also believe I know the best way to do it. The biggest difference I would say is my opinions are based on the data. So I'm going off of my track record of decades of doing this. And then as we start to do marketing, I'm looking at the data itself and trying to see what the data tells me as far as what's working, what isn't working, and what to change. The business owners that ultimately fail, they're not doing that. They're making decisions based on how they feel it's going. Do I feel like this ad works? Do I like the message that this one is saying? And they're not paying any attention to the data, or the data that they're getting in, they feel like is not telling them the truth. And they're like, no, this is the kind of person I'm getting. And ultimately, in the end, like that, it doesn't matter. Like how I feel about a campaign or what I feel like works, who cares? What matters is, what does the data tell me? And as long as you stick to the data, you can fix it. These business owners that are doomed, and I know about it before they do, is because I see the data, and when I provide guidance or advice or materials to help fix them, they don't implement that. They insist on doing something else. And that immediately tells me, okay, they're done. It's just a matter of how much money do they have saved up before the whole thing falls apart. Anyway, I hope you're not one of those people. I hope you understand that sometimes we do stuff in business that we may not like, we may not resonate with, and that doesn't matter. What matters is, what does the data tell us? And do we adjust based on the data to get the results we want? Or do we make adjustments based on what we think is going to work and demand the data fits? One of them is going to succeed, one of them is going to fail every time. Thanks for watching this video. See you guys in the next one.